Hey everybody, glad to see you again. You know, I've noticed something here, given a lot of pretty good bit of thought to over a period of time, and you know, it's a sad reality of life, but from time to time we have a friend or a loved one, they pass away. Well, of course, with a situation like that, we do have the formal process leading up to the funeral and the burial. And you know, one aspect is the viewing, more often than not, at the funeral home the day before the wedding. The family gathers, the loved one or friend who's passed away is out for the viewing. And you know what's caught my attention, and I've wondered about it, and I don't mean to be rude by saying it, but I can't help it, folks. It catches my attention. The numerous times I have had people say, "Oh, so and so," the individual who has passed away, they say, "Oh, they look so good. Go look at so and so. Don't they look good? Don't they look good?" And you know, I stop and I think to myself, my goodness, folks, they're dead. I mean, how can they look good? They're dead. I mean, good gosh, you know, that's about like going to the grocery store and looking at a nice ribeye steak laying there in the cooler and say, "Oh, that looks good." Well, heck, it's a dead piece of cow. Well, at any rate, you know, you think about it too. This is along the same lines. People will be talking about the funeral services and what have you. And I've had people say, "Well, where are they going to bury old so-and-so?" And, I mean, any damn fool knows they're going to bury him in the ground. Why in the heck are they asking to begin with? It's kind of, how do we call it, mind-boggling. And another thing that catches my attention, you know, usually several days after the burial, the graveside services have been performed and the loved one or friend has been laid to rest. We see someone and we'll mention to them, say, "Well, we buried old so-and-so the other day." And, you know, more often than not, the first thing they say, never fails, you watch for it, they'll say, "Oh, did he die?" Oh, well, hell no, you know, we buried him for the fun. Of course he died. You know, now how moronic can that be? You tell me, please. Well, all right, going back, I want to tell you one last thing. My grandparents used to run a little country store many years ago. I think my grandmother closed it back in 1962, but back in those days out here in the country, the old country store, the general store, was a social center. People didn't go to town, but they met around the little store, similar like they still do with some of the country stores today. But my grandmother always related the story about her having a conversation with an older black gentleman one day, and they got off on the subject of life and death and the hereafter. And my grandmother, her nickname was Epps. People called her Miss Epps. And my grandmother always chuckled, said the black man told her. He said, "Well, Miss Epps, it ain't that dying so bad, it's just that you stayed dead for so long." My grandmother always got a kick out of that, but you know, that is the truth. Doesn't take long to die, my friend, but Lord have mercy, don't we stay dead a long time. Well, you know, sometimes I think about it, and I view the remains laying there in the coffin of the friends or loved ones of the deceased. And you know, I've never heard the first one of them complain about it. Maybe it isn't quite so bad. And I tell you what, I'd sure like to see some other folks laying in there before it's done, before it's my turn. Well, all right, folks, just remember my old saying, please, you be what you is, because if you be what you ain't, then you ain't what you is. Thank you.